Hello guys, welcome to our channel Coding with Karthik. So this session we are going to build REST API using Node.js and Express framework. So I will just give some basic idea about what is REST API, but in the coming up sessions maybe I will create separate video for that to understand in detail like what is REST API and what are the rules and constraints that we have to follow. Okay, so here REST stands for Representational State Transfer, so which is a standard architecture, standard software architecture to build a REST API. So it has set up rules that has to follow. Okay, um, so and the API is nothing but application programming interface, which allows two applications to which allows two multiple applications to talk each other. So finally, REST API is it is nothing but so which allows which which it allows requesting system to access and manipulating the web resources by using the set of rules. So that means um, which allows access which allows requesting system to access in the sense it is just if you think if you generally if it is nothing but will call one endpoint to get the data or post or to update or to delete the data, right? So that means that is because of REST API we are able to communicate or we are able to request other system to access or manipulate uh, or delete the data, right? So that is how REST API works. Okay, now I'm going to create one basic Node.js Express server. So uh, where I will create the multiple request type. So that means we have like post method, get method, put method, and delete method. Okay, so I will go one by one. So then you will understand what is post, what is get, what is put, and what is delete method. Okay, yeah. For that, first let me create one node. Let me create one folder. So I'm just creating one folder. Just give me something like express underscore express REST API. Okay. Now I'm just entering to this folder express REST API. To initiate the node express project, right? We can use npm init, which will create the uh, basic package.json. But later we can modify that package.json as per requirement. Okay. And just okay. Now we have this folder with package.json. Now I'm going to create one file server.js. Okay. Yeah. So here we're going to use Express framework. So first of all, I think most of you know about Express, but I just give briefly what is Express. So Express is nothing but one library or one framework. So which simplifies our work. Like if you want to create server, right, we can have few lines of code to create the server. Okay, so that is how it works. And if you want to customize few things, right, then we have middlewares. We can use middlewares. So where we can customize requests and also where we can log. There are multiple things like we can pass data. There are many middlewares, or we can have our own middleware function which can which can do the work. Okay, yeah. So here I'm going to import express. Okay, using the pair of method. Okay, so and also I'm going to use cast method. So this cast method to for cross origin, to allow the request from the other clients, we'll use this cast module. Okay, now I'm just creating constant app equal to express. Okay, yeah. So just we're creating the app object. express of nothing but which export app object. So we are listening to the app. Okay. Now thing is we have to listen a specific port. Okay. Listen up. That means 3000 port. Okay. So that means when we start the server, it will start running on this 3000 port. Okay. And let me give some console when server is running. Okay. Console.log app listening now 3000 port. So if you if most of you if you don't have basic idea about node.js and express and how to start with it, right, I have separate video already in YouTube channel, so I will give that link in the description. Later you can go through that video. So it has basic steps like how to install the node.js and how to start with node.js application using express. Okay, you can go through that video. I will give that link in the description. Now we have this. So now the first thing we have to do is we have to install this required packages. Okay, so let me install it. Npm install express. Okay, and also we need one more module, npm cross. Okay, npm install cross module. Yeah, now we have the node modules also. Now let me start the application. I can run using node server.js. Okay, it is listening on 3000 port. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, if I go to the browser and if I try to load the application, right, let me see what happens. See, cannot get. So that means we created web service, I mean we created node.js server, but here we haven't defined the API endpoint, so which allows other applications to talk. Here our application is browser, and we have node.js server as our client is browser, and this is server. Okay, but we are running, okay, we are running server, but we haven't defined the API endpoint, where the other applications can talk. Okay, through other applications can talk, right? So that's why we are calling API as application programming interface. Okay, yeah. Now so let me just create that main request. Okay, app.get off this one. Okay, this is root method, right? So we are just using get method, and we'll use so use response. So we'll use response object to send the response and send a hi, welcome. So hi, welcome to coding with Karthik. Okay. Now let me restart the server. We can use Postman to restart the whenever we make some changes. But for now, I'm just simply using more server.js. Okay. If I now if you open the browser, right, let's see what happens. Yeah. Let me refresh the page. See, hello, welcome to coding with Karthik. So that means we have created one endpoint. So uh, so here we are returning the response. Okay, and this is get method. Now let's see other methods one by one. So first, like we'll take in one example. So by that you can understand how REST API works and what are the different type of request type. What are the different request types and how to use it. So where to use it, right? So for that, maybe I will go some example maybe we'll try to have for any applications. And the basic thing is users data, right? So for that, I will just create REST API to access and manipulate the users data. Okay. So for now, I'm going to use one JSON. One variable. So within the scope. So in the coming up sessions, maybe I will use MongoDB or SQL or MySQL to um, store the data. But for now, just use the variable because here primarily we are focusing on REST API, right? So that's why I will just create one variable and I will explain how to manipulate that variable through the REST API. Okay, now let me and before okay, first let me create one object. Okay, so one variable. So let users list equal to. So let me have object wise. So ID something like one and name Karthik, and let me have one flag like status. Okay, status active, so something like user status. Okay, either we can consider something like either plan subscription is active or not. Okay, and it is, and we'll have one more thing like email karthik.sk24 okay. Similarly, I will get one more object here. Okay, id to, yeah. Here since it is normal variable, it allows to create object with the same id. But when we store in database or when we store in database, right, then we'll use unique key for this id. So that means it will not allow to create the duplicate key. Okay, so now name some, let's say something like test, and status let me give inactive, and email let me give something like test@gmail.com. Okay, now this is when we have the users list, right? Now let me create one endpoint where we use this user list to respond back. Okay, we'll send this user list to the client application. Okay, now app.getOff, so users. Okay, so while creating this API, I will create a separate session like there are some rules we have to follow, like the naming of the API. So I will explain in the coming up sessions. Okay, so here let me access request and response object. So simply I can just return the response like response.json of users list. Okay, okay, and yeah, what is this response JSON of users list? Okay, let me restart the server. Now we have this endpoint, right? So let me check that in browser. Okay, see, we have the object, right? So this is how it works. So we can test the get request from the browser easily, but if you want to test remaining request types like post, put, delete, right? So again we have to use some ajax method or fetch method to send and see the results. So because of that, I will for now I'll go for Postman because here I'll focus on REST API how to build it, right? So that's why I'm going to use the Postman for now. So which is I think most of you knows about Postman, right? So here let me create one have one new collection. So I'm going to add one request here, so which is get. So here we give http localhost. Okay, here see, so if I send the request, sorry, yeah, sorry, here we have to give the URL. Yeah, this is just name, so you can see, right? Now what is the other request that we have when users? Okay, See, so we have the JSON response. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, now what we do, we'll just create other request types. Okay, okay, let me create post request. Okay, to add a new book to the object. Okay, now mm, sorry, to add new user to the object. Okay, so go to the list. Let me have app.post stuff. So just user and request, so request response. Okay, so here we'll use like we'll just constant give new user equal to request dot we'll use something like request dot body. So now we have the new user variable. So when we send the post request, right, so we in the server we have to access using the requested body. So now the new user will have that alter the data we are sending through the request body. Okay, now uh, we'll just simply push to the users list. Okay, this entire user object users list dot push of new user. Okay, and what we'll do is like we'll just send some response like response dot send of. So we'll just give okay, sorry, we'll just give sorry user added. Okay, now let me check this. Here we'll definitely face one issue, but I will let you know what will be that issue. Okay, first let's try, we'll see the issue, then we'll see okay what is happening. Yeah, now here let me create one endpoint. Okay, so I'll create sorry, so I'll just duplicate it and I will create post request. Okay, so here we are going to send request to the body. So I'm choosing the raw and JSON type. So here will give like what are the fields we have, like sorry, I'm not sharing, right? So let me share Postman. Okay, yeah, so I will explain. So I just delete this, otherwise I was not sharing screen. So I'm just duplicating this one. So here I'm going to change the post method and we have the slash user. Okay, and now I'm going to create a user. I'm going to send user data here. So JSON. So here we'll use what are the keys we have: ID, name, status, and active, right? So copy paste those things. Okay. So I will change the ID 3 and the username test2 and test2. Just change some information so that it will be easy to. Okay. Now send this. See, we got the success message, but let's see what is the data here. Okay. See, null. So that means why it is adding null to the list is there's a reason. So I will show you the reason. So here we are just getting the requested body and we are adding to that. Here this is requested body is coming as null. So and we are pushing that null to the users list. So we are sending the user ID. So but in real time, so we'll do some validation for this, and we'll throw an error message. Something 404 or 404 401 error code. So uh, to respond with that 401. So by that way, they can understand like some object is invalid. So, but here that is not the issue. Here the issue with our logic. Here it is not able to pass the request body. So for that we need to use one middleware. So which is inbuilt middleware. So app dot use of. So if you want to use any middleware function for all the requests, you can use this way. Use of will be able to like execute for every request type, but you have to put about to the all the request. Okay, app dot use of will use express.json, which will pass the request body. Okay, now let me try that again. Okay, let me share Postman now. So here I'm going to send request. We got the user added, and if you check the list, see now we have the user ID 3 with the state and with the info with the actual object what we send to the post request. Okay, now this is perfect. Now let's go to the other method. So yeah, just maybe. mm, okay, let me see that. So now, so we are getting all the books, right? Now let's try to get a book based on the, sorry, we're getting all this. Let me try to get the user based on the specific ID. Okay, let me try that. So if you want to get the specific user based on the ID, we have some request format. So so now let me try that. Okay, so that is like app dot get off. So let me get only user and we'll give this ID. Okay, this is a format to access the ID through the request. Okay, request response and create this way, and we'll use user ID equal to request dot params dot ID. Okay, so it will access this ID in the request. Okay, now here we have to filter based on the user list. Okay, let user equal to users list. So let me use find off. So return v dot id equal to, okay, so and we'll just return response.json of user. Okay, so here we are just iterating and there is a find of method. So we're returning v dot id, right? So we are checking the id equal to user ID that we have gone through the request, right? Now let's see either this will work or will throw some error. Okay, let me restart the server and let's trigger from Postman. Okay, so let me get it. Okay, so here I'll try to get one. So if we send this, see, yeah, we are getting through using ID 1. Now if you try to get the user 2, Yeah, see, this is how it works. Now, so we have seen like how to get all the users and how to get the specific user based on the ID, right? Now, there is other way to filter the data. So using query parameters through the request. So that means, so let me just show you that how we create. So let's say if you want to get all the users which are active, okay, not based on ID, which are active. So that means we have to send some query to filter the data. So in that case, we'll use the query parameters. So I will show you how to create the API and how to call it from the uh, Postman, I mean client. Okay, I'll show that I will create the REST API now. So that is how we create is. So here itself I will use that. So let me, sorry, not here. Okay, here. Okay. So let me have something like status equal to request dot query dot status. Okay. Here we'll use like users list dot. Let me just create let users equal to users list dot filter of v written v dot status equal to this query status. Okay, now we'll send this users back. Okay, only maybe I can, yeah, I will show you that. So maybe here what I will do is I will just either we'll just consider this status query is optional. So in that case we'll check either status is exist or not, query status exist or not. So for that what I will do, right? So so first, so if the query status is there, then only we'll filter it the data. Otherwise we'll send the so actual user list. Okay, else users equal to users list. Okay. Now, so that means if the query has the status query parameter, so if it is there, then we'll filter out the data. So otherwise, we'll send the actual user list to the client. Now let me restart the application. So if we go to the Postman now, so here if you check direct users, it has all the users. Now we'll filter it out based on the status. Okay, so status equal to active. So it is sending empty list. I think then we have made some mistake here. So what is that mistake? Should this should sorry, let me check it out once. Yeah, I think I got the issue. So it is like we are filtering data, but we are not sending to the users here. So that's why it is empty listed. So that's why it is sending back that empty users list. So here we have to assign that users side. So what are the filter data we have to assign back to the users object, users list variable. So now let me restart again. Okay, and if you go to the Postman, right, let's see the Postman now. Here if you send it, see now we are getting only the users which are active. Okay, and this is how this query parameter will work. Now let's see the other request type, something like to delete. Okay, so we'll see like how to delete the request, sorry, how to delete it. Okay, okay, let me check. check it out once. Yeah, so here we'll delete based on the id, like let me just share the VS Code. So here we'll create one request, okay. So app dot post, okay. Now let me use app dot delete of, so which will hand it delete method. So user of, let me create id. So request response, and let's just see. Now we'll get that id from the request parameters. Okay. Let user id equal to request dot params dot id. Now we'll have to delete users, right? So for that, what we'll do is, so users list equal to users list dot filter of, we'll use a filter of method. So where it will do filter based on the id, okay. So what we'll do is like we'll just return v dot id not equal to user id. So that means it will check either the user, the list, the object, each object user id is not equal to the params user id. So then only it will that means we are removing the remaining user ids, okay. Sorry, we are removing that specific user id. We are just getting the users who are whose user id not equal to this params user id, okay. Now this is the new users list, okay. Now we can send, if you need some card, we can just put some console here, console.log of users, or I will just get some, will send get request to get the data, okay. Now here let me just send some response dot send of deleted, okay. Now if you restart the server, so I'm going to duplicate this, okay. Here use delete method. Okay, let me send this, okay, sorry, to share Postman, okay. Yeah. Now just duplicated one of the request and I make it delete request, and here we are sending the request format. So that means we are going to delete the user on id basis, okay. So if I send this request, yeah, deleted, okay. Now let's see the user list, either it was deleted or not. So I'm removing this query parameter. See, we have only one user, okay. So that means we deleted this user. Let me delete second user also, okay. If you check it out, see, we have empty list since we have deleted user id 1 and user id 2. So this is how it works, okay. Now we are going to see the put method, so which will be used to update the specific object or specific user, okay. So basically post is to create the new user, right? That means post is create the new data, right? And get is to get all the users, and delete method to delete the specific user id, or also we can delete all the users, okay. Now we are going to create the put method which will be used to update the data. So okay, now let's say like example, like let's say we'll try to update the specific user based on id, okay. So app dot put of, okay, let me use some request user, so based on id, right? So I'm giving id, and let me create request response, okay. And here let me get that updated information body equal to request of body. So that means updated data, okay. So let me see like updated data. Now so what we need to do is like we have to update the that specific uh, specific data for the this specific id, okay. Now let me just check that. So let me iterate users list. Okay, let me iterate the users list maybe. Okay, let I in users list. I'm just return an index. So if users list of dot id equal to, and also let me get this user id. Let's use id equal to request dot sorry request dot params dot id. Okay, I'll just check the if id is there. Okay, now we need to update the we need to update with this body object. Okay, so what I will do is just update this one. What is that? Update data. So let me add this id also. Dot id equal to user id, and I'm just updating this data. Okay, now we can send like response dot send of user updated. Okay, so now let me call this request from the postman. Let me test it out. Okay, here is the postman. So let me duplicate this one. So we'll change this to the port, and we're going to update user with id 1. So now, so we have this we need to send body. So I'm sending json. So I will use like maybe name to test3, and let me have these values. Okay, okay. So here I'm going to, so basically now let me say user list. Okay, I have to restart. Okay, let me restart it. Yeah, now if you see the user list, user id 1 have the Karthik and my email address. Okay, now if I change if I update it, right, so we are updating. So we are updating user id 1 with this object. Okay, with this information, user updated successfully. Now if we check it out, so see the enter user id 1 have the information like name test3. That means it was updated using this put request. Okay, this is how put method will work. So I'm just concluding the entire session. So first of all, REST API is which allows to communicate between the client and server. So and we created multiple APIs, and so the first method is get method, so which is used to get the data from the server, and second is post method, which is used to post or create the new record in the server in database. So and next is to update, we'll use this put method to update the specific data object. We'll use this put method, and next one is delete method to delete the data from that server. Right, we'll use that delete method. So this is how the REST API works. So I hope you enjoy the session. So please like this video and share this video. It will be something like motivation, or it will be some it will help me to like encourage to do more videos so on this technical stuff, right? So please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much.